Let's see if I can talk without sounding like I'm choking on death. Um, Terrible night's rest as usual, and I'm so out of it. And I do think yesterday I thought we were gonna deal with a lot of chop, but it turns out we had like a little mini rally, which extended to a further rally, and then a big sell-off, a 180 sell-off, I guess, followed by another little rally at the end. So um, not exactly chop. There was opportunities to make trades, but it didn't quite work for me. So let's go ahead and put in our major supply and demand from yesterday's zones really quick. I should have done that yesterday, but after I lost what little trade I made, little money I made from my trades, my one trade, I just got fed up and walked away. Also, I didn't have any more capital to trade anyway, so alright. Well, this is pretty neat though. It formed this clean um, supply zone and then just peaked just a little bit higher. Ironically though, remember Adam Mancini said that he saw 4208 as the peak, as the target, and we got exactly to 4208.5. I mean, it's like witchcraft that he's so good at this. And what frustrates me, and I did mention this in my final video yesterday, um, I got three options in the 419 zone. I was initially looking at 416, but it rallied away from me, and I got to a point where I couldn't even buy a single option because it was bigger than my account. So I went a couple strikes higher and got into this, and I think I bought one at, I forgot what. I made $9 buying one at like 40 and selling it like 50 something, 9 measly dollars, and then lost it chopping in this mess. However, if I and I I did a little demo trading yesterday, and this is a lesson that I need to learn, is that it's one thing to avoid the sense of FOMO, but you have to also know when to get in when you find a pullback. And you know this formed a clean looking demand zone here, went up and tested this supply zone, failed, went down. So I guess I could have gotten in here or here or here. Little mini inverse head and shoulders was forming. But somewhere within this chop, if I had just gotten in and just said, okay, I gotta have faith in the plan. This is gonna make its way to 4208, which again, I hate having to convert ES into SPY. I wish I could just trade futures and be done with options because it's so frustrating. There was a time where if ES was at 4,000, SPY would be at 396 or something. There was like a 40-point difference or a 4-point difference or something if you drop the last number on ES. Yet for some reason yesterday, ES hit 4208 and SPY hit 418. I mean, that's like a 2-point difference. I've never seen the difference being that close, but there it is. Right now, ES is at 4150. 4150 and SPY is at 4120. So that's like almost a 3-point difference. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's so annoying. But I guess I can just not even bother putting a sell limit and just waiting till ES gets close to 4208 and then just hit sell limit. I probably wouldn't get out at 80. Very unlikely I would, but anywhere in here was higher than when I got in for any of my three options that I bought here. So any of these three options, if I sold up here, all three would have been profitable. Anyways, so a recap of what happened after that. Once we peaked at 42.08, we made a nice little supply here and just sold off. And this was a pretty hard sell-off. So if anybody decided to take this short on the cool-off, they would have made money much faster than waiting for all of this chop to happen. Nonetheless, we retested the major demand zone that was formed earlier in the morning that created the liftoff in the first place and rallied from there We didn't quite make it all the way to the top. Interestingly, I didn't take this. This was initially the major supply. I didn't take this off, and this is where we sort of fell. But if I put this on the 1 minute, we had like a little mini peak up again in this level. But of course, this strike was so far out of the money, and it didn't make any difference at that point. So, if yesterday I expected chop and we instead got a couple rallies and a couple trend moves, then today's definitely going to be chop. What slightly irritates me is that Adam Mancini warned in his newsletter and in his tweet that we should see some chop yesterday, but that we pretty much trended in both directions a couple times instead. So, but he once again warned today is going to definitely likely be chop. So I hate trading chops, to be honest. But oh, and let's zoom in here. Let's go back to the 5 minute. I don't know what this is about. We had this little sell-off here to this key level I put in before. Let's see if this shows up somewhere on TradingView. Not really. Yeah, you know what? That level was a supply that formed, not a supply, a demand. No, it was a supply that's now a demand. Let me just quickly put this on my TradingView. One moment. Okay, so the major support now for ES. Let me bring ES over. And this is the hour, yes. Let's zoom out. Okay, I know that's just a mess, but I don't know how to clean this up any better. Again, full recap. This is the January 22nd bearish downward trend line that lasted for a year. Retest was here on Tuesday. Wednesday, FOMC, post FOMC rally. A bull flag was forming here. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it. And Adam Mancini also said you can call this a triangle. And I have no idea where that triangle is. I don't know. And of course, our rally to 4208. And oh wow, this made a very strong, clean base on the 1 hour as well. Let's just increase this. And this was a 3-hour supply from way before, but this is going to be a pretty strong supply, so I'm just going to do that. We had this little drop here, and I guess we're recovering, but you know what, I had a support here, and Adam Mancini didn't mention it in his newsletter, but I'm going to put it back. To me, this is a very clean 1 hour support or demand, and look, that's where it bounced to. 4138. If I remember from his newsletter, Adam Mancini, and sometimes I worry about talking about his newsletter because you have to pay for this newsletter, but he's pretty forthcoming. He says this stuff on his Twitter account. Yes, ask me now if I want to rate Twitter. This is really like it's time. Okay, as long as above 460, we should still see 4180 and then 4200 or 4208, which would lift us off to 4220 and above. So 460 is important. 4160 is important, and we're already below it. So bulls will want to go cover that. If we fail 4160, I believe the next support, very strong support, is going to be 4200. Although I have a weekly here at 4116. But 4200, god damn it, 4120. Sorry, I'm so out of it. 4120. Maybe I might sneak my weekly support up a little bit higher. I don't know. Let's see if it needs to be oh, of course I can't see because I need to put this on weekly. The problem is when I do my demo, I add extra lines in this, and I need to get rid of it. I think I adjusted this weekly several times already. I don't want to keep adjusting it. We got a touch here. There's a different weekly. I don't want to bring it down. This tends me to, no. I think that's where it needs to go. This one, yeah. I think ultimately we might make our way to 4220. No, but that's not what Adam Mancini said. He said, oh yeah, 4220. That's okay. We might get there before we start seeing a significant cool off. That's why I put this big bulbous dark gray area here. Let's take a quick look at the daily. Where? Oh my God! Back it out. This 4138 is a God damn it, dude. Is a daily that formed here, and it looks like it rejected. No, that rejected at the weekly here. So I got a daily here and here. I don't know if I want to put it. You know what? Let's just add it. Let's just go ahead and add it. I know my system seems random and doesn't make sense, but I'm kind of applying different. A couple years ago, I took that course from Carmine Rosito on how to make supply and demand, and for the first year or a few months after taking the course, it seemed to work. It was almost clockwork, but then I noticed a period where it just stopped working, and price would no longer respect the supply and demand zones based on the times that you put them. And his technique on how to put it, one thing that irritated me is, for example, I might make an hour demand zone based on his system, and then he'll do a trade recap where he'll talk about the trade afterwards, and he'll say, oh yeah, I went straight to this demand zone on the dollar and the very money or whatever, and then rallied, But then I'll look at it, and this happened more than a few times. I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute though. That's not where I had my demand zone. That's weird. And I look, and he would adjust the demand zone after the fact. And this happened more than a couple times, and it was a bit vexing. Why do I have this here? I must have put this here because Adam Mancini had it there. But let's just get rid of it. Let's get rid of this. This may be where this ultimately goes to. Anyways, let's back this up again. Go back to our hour. So it looks like we bounced at this daily, this price level here. So maybe it was actually the daily that it bounced and not so much this price level. I'll keep them both there for now. But yeah, it looks like we bounced, but we're back down there again. So I'm not sure what that means. But again, if 4160 fails, the next support would be 4120. If 4120 fails, the next spot is 4000. And I think Adam Mancini said as long as we're above, no, not 4000, I'm sorry. If 4120 fails, the next spot is 4100. I think that's what he said. But for sure, I can see here the rally started in 4080, something like that. So nope, he says if 4160 fails, we drop to 4128, which is I mean, I said 4120, but it's close. If 4120 fails, I'm pretty confident the next spot is 4100, and 4100 might be the last spot for the bulls. If we fail there, then it might sell a bit more significantly. Although I have a weekly support at 4115, so is it possible we might sell down to there and then pop back up? I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to devise a plan, but really the only plan I can think of is just to follow MK strategy and just look for a solid demand zone to be formed, and then maybe see if it gets retested, and then we take it long. If a solid demand form, this is one thing that really happens often when I'm doing demo, it will form a solid demand zone like it did here, right? Solid demand zone. You want to see it get retested, but not this big of a gap. Like a demand zone forms, chops, retest, and then rallies, something like that. This just formed a quick one and then just left. Came back later in the day and then it bounced here. So I guess if you took this long, and you would have to peak, you would have to pick a strike at the money, in the money, or maybe one level out of the money, because you'd be taking, I mean, it did bounce pretty decent. We had a good 3 point bounce here. If you put your sell limit here, I don't know, I would be curious to demo this. It looked like it would have snuck up there and maybe filled your, but we put this on a 1 minute, and even the 1 minute candle like a very big long wick. So it would be safer to target here, um, or maybe even here. I don't know, but it wasn't a very huge move if you targeted here. But 2 points, I mean, you get something out of 2 points, 50% profit or something. But when I'm demoing, what often happens, which frustrates me, is it'll form a clean demand. It'll come up, it'll look like it's retesting that demand, and then fall down. And then I'm here thinking, oh, okay, the demand failed. I guess I should switch and take it short now, right? Well, then what happens is you take it short, and then it quickly recovers. And of course, you lose money quickly on your short, and then it recovers the demand, maybe tests it again, and then rallies or something. I don't know. Except chop days. Chop days, it's such a random mess. I can't. It's just so frustrating. I really don't like trading on chop days. So yeah, I guess today's plan is we're going to, what, let me get rid of, no, I might get rid of this one. Oh, we're sinking lower. I'm definitely gonna get rid of this one though. We are sinking lower. Let me bring this back over. I don't know if maybe some news came out or there's something that happened today, because it looks like they started sinking around a little after 8 o'clock. Let us see if, I remember I found this thanks to, oh man, what is his channel? Trade Brigade. He put this on here, so this is good. So Thursday, February 3rd. Non-farm payroll. I don't know if this is the reason why it's dropping. So as I understand it, but I'm not good at understanding this stuff, because we're having inflation, the feds want to see bad reports, bad numbers, like more unemployment, less jobs being opened or whatever, and it shows that the economy is struggling. And if the economy is struggling, or I don't know, it's so counterintuitive sometimes. But higher unemployment means that the inflation should drop. I guess the inflation rate should drop because people can't afford things anymore. People are suffering, and if people are suffering, can't afford things, and the inflation rate drops, then the feds will stop raising interest rates. I guess that's the outlook of it. Again, This is not something that I'm an expert on, so I'm just going by what I've heard from other YouTubers that I sometimes watch. Um, so that might be the reason why this dropped down, but it started dropping down before 8:30 anyways. But I've noticed in the past though that sometimes, like let's say the CPI report is supposed to be released at 8:30, but then it's like 8:20 and the market starts rallying. So I don't know. It maybe it's just some maybe there's likely some insider stuff going on here. So on ES we dropped down to as low as 41.38, or we're still hovering above that daily level that I added. Um, so maybe again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring over ES, maximize sell, bring it over. Maybe is it possible that we might see a retest of the weekly? I don't know. I believe the bull case is still in play as long as we're above this trend or this trend. Um, Look, I would say, I mean, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It seems to me like the bull case is in effect as long as we're above this January 22nd downtrend. But I think Adam Mancini had said, I'm sorry, Adam Mancini, if I'm saying your newsletter too much, but I believe he had said in his newsletter that as long as we're above 4100, the bull case is still in effect. So, speaking of which, I think I should add a line here because this is a very clean demand or supply, but now it's going to be demand on the 1 hour here. I'm not sure why I put the 1 hour down here. Now that I think about it, that's weird. It looks more like it should be a little bit lower here. But I do believe Adam has said 4095 is a strong, a major level. Okay, let me just adjust this really quick. I don't know, does it really matter? I don't know, but I just want to label some of these. 40, the ones I don't label are the ones that are just given by Adam Mancini, and I don't really know how he finds a lot of his levels. I really wish he would do a course on how he did his levels, and often people are complimenting him for how precise his levels are and thanking him. And he would say, hey, thank you, it's a lot of work on my end, but I would like to see that work. I mean, like magic, he counted 4208. Don't know how he does it, but out of all the people I follow, he's one of the best, and also very kind. But he's Canadian, so maybe that's why. I used to follow this guy named Kevin that was on Twitter, but I made the mistake of sending a few DMs out of frustration saying, yeah, I took this trade and I put my stop loss too early and I exited and da-da-da, whatever, whatever. And I think at one point he sent me a message saying, what was he said, stop sending me these messages. I don't care if you put your stop loss too early or whatever, that's your problem. And if you continue sending me these messages, I'm going to block you. It's stressful. I don't want to hear about your mistakes or something like that. And mind you, I was paying this guy for access to his newsletter or something like that. I mean, he's not bad at what he does, but he wasn't correct very many times compared to, say, Adam Mancini's levels. And what this guy would do is, and it seemed a very interesting plan, he would chart dozens of different charts, from Apple to Amazon to the Nike or whatever it's called, and he would chart them on daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, and find support and resistance and trends and whatever, and he'll base his trades on what all the other charts are doing. So if every chart looks like they've hit a resistance and they're about to fall, or they're all at some major trend or whatever, then he would justify taking a put on SPY. Makes sense. But he would do something called a put spread, and honestly, I don't quite know what that is. And also, but this is the part that frustrated me, he won't he would take a put that's like a month and a half out, right? And there was one time where he had advised that he had posted on his Telegram that he's taking a put. It was a SPY 450 put that was like a month and a half out. It was like a February put, even though we were in December, or I think it was November or something like that. And later on, SPY rallied. SPY continued to rally, but then it hit a point where it finally turned around and went back down. And then people were praising him on not Instagram, Twitter, and he was saying, "Yeah, you got to follow your instinct, follow your gut, da da da, whatever." I plugged in the option on the expiration that he had said. I plugged it in, and what didn't make any sense to me is that there was a point where you would have been almost 80% down on your investment on that until SPY finally turned around and started to go down. And then when it did go down, you would have only made maybe 10% profits. So it made no sense to me at all. It was ridiculous. And sometimes his plan would be like, okay, SPY's gonna go up to this point and then we're gonna take it short. So he's like almost perma bearish. And I'm like, if you think SPY's gonna go up to this point from where we are now, wouldn't it make sense for us to try and profit off of that rise and rally? And I think one day I did that. I went long. But what did I do? Oh my God, that's right. Typical mistake. This is my Achilles heel. I went long, but it went down on me, and I sold early for a loss. But it eventually turned around. I mean, that's going to be my modus operandi for my trades. You're going to see that's something I constantly do. I went long, it chopped, it went down, I sold for a loss on a stop loss, and then afterwards, like always, it rallied. And I think he took it long, but then he exited like really early, all of his position. He said in his Twitter, I exited all of my entire position. But Adam Mancini's target was way up there, and ironically, coincidentally, Adam Mancini's target was where this guy thought SPY would go and then reject, right? And I had sent a message to him. I'm like, hey, I was just curious, why did you exit here as opposed to up at your target? Man, this guy went off on me. He said, well, because I'm not greedy and I'm not stupid and I have experience. Why would I not? What a stupid question to ask. And then he even went on his Twitter account and said, someone just asked me why I exited early. And you can't be greedy in this market. You can't be greedy. That's a stupid question. You ask me stupid questions, you're gonna get a straight up answer, something like that. Whatever. Here's the irony. When he posted his newsletter, the paragraph he wrote in his newsletter, he specifically said, I may have exited early because the price continued going up, so that was a mistake. I probably should have held a little bit longer or scaled out. Yeah, needless to say, I stopped paying this guy $80 a month. I mean, I wasn't getting my money's worth at all from him. And, I I used to be I used to have a career, a challenging career. It was a well-paying career that I would train new people into that career. And I was younger then, and I was very frustrated because some of these people, like for example, I had a guy that didn't know that when you type a sentence, you put a period after it. No, I'm serious. This guy went to a state university here, got his 4-year degree, and did not know that when you type a sentence, you put a period after it. Instead, what he was doing, he was typing a sentence, putting a space, putting a period, putting a space, and then typing the sentence. I don't understand how you can go to a 4-year university and do that. But anyway, my point is, I sometimes lost my temper and I was frustrated dealing with them. But nonetheless, I never insulted anyone as far as I knew. I was always respectful. And these guys weren't paying me to train them. I wasn't getting paid I was getting paid like an extra dollar an hour to train these guys. So I wasn't getting paid, in my opinion, enough to justify the stress of dealing with these guys. But I like teaching. So if you're going to charge people $80 a month just to have access to your charts. But then if they reach out to you and talk to you and you get frustrated and you insult them, no, no, yeah. So whatever. I'm sorry I'm going off on this long tangent. Adam Mancini, absolutely great guy. Wish I could meet him and train under him. So again, that's why he's in my link as a Telegram supporter. I know you're thinking, well, you suck at trading, Kevin, so clearly I probably shouldn't follow this guy. But trust me, you'll see if nobody's really going to be following these videos anyways. I'm already aware of that, but whoever might see this and want to get into futures trading with ES or whatever, his Telegram is well worth it. Also, remarkably cheap. I forget how much it is. It's like 300 for the whole year or something like that, and you have access for the whole year. Well worth it. His Twitter is also free. It's Adam. Sorry, hold on. It is Adam Mancini 4 at Adam Mancini. Adam common spelling Mancini number 4. Absolutely love this guy. I wish I can figure out how to do futures trading and trade futures with him. I mean, and let me be honest. If I had a fat enough account, if my account was $100,000 yesterday, after it pulled back a little bit, I'm just gonna enter. I'm just gonna enter. I would have just entered in. Was this 9 o'clock? Yeah, I would have just entered in. This is the 4/8. This is okay. So this is today's. Let's say I was using today's expiration yesterday. Although one advantage I've noticed about using a option that's a few days out, yes, it costs more money, but it doesn't move as erratically with price, if that makes sense. It's a bit more smooth. So when price goes down, the value will go down, yes, but not by a significant amount. Wait, let me see if I can prove that. Let's go to today's Friday. Let's go to next week Friday. 418. So if you got in right after the bell, it'll be like around 214, 215, whatever. And way down here, it's 164. What is that? Like a 70, 80 point, $80 drop? Percentage wise, I can't. I'm terrible at math. I'm not sure how big a drop that is percentage wise. It certainly isn't 50%. So is it? Yeah, it looks like it could almost be. No, no, oh my God, I'm so out of it. No, not even close. That's like 20%. Whatever. Point is, let's go to today. Let's go to today. Today at 218. Yesterday, 140, 150, and it goes down to 90. So that's like oh my God, that's like a 33% drop. My point is, and it's hard to display this, is that if you're using the day of expiration, you get punished greatly for the price moves. You get rewarded greatly for the price move if it goes in your direction because it's cheaper, if that makes sense. But you'll also get burned quicker if the price moves against you. Is what I'm trying to say. I know options are tricky. They are. So anyways, I'm sorry, I've been babbling for a while. I should end this video. Again, my pre-market strategy is to just wait for a demand zone to be formed on the 5-minute, see if it gets retested, and then take it long or take it short if it's a supply zone. I don't know. Let me go back to where we were. It looks like we are chopping above 411. Oh, I don't know why I have this key level here, but you know what? I really should probably work with SPY for a little bit. Let us go to our weekly. Oh my God, what a mess. I think it's time to take this off. But you know what? This might get retested again. I don't know. Maybe. That's a weekly there. We passed that. Oh, yes, yes, I should do this. This is probably the weekly expected move. Let me use this one. That might be confident to the weekly that I have at 42.20 on ES. I'll just keep it white. Um, this weekly move, look, I have daily here actually. That's interesting. Oh, that's another one. That's this one, right? No, this is this. Okay, I don't know why I put daily. This is weekly. Or maybe it's also on the daily. That probably is interesting. Let's see. Wait, let's finish the weekly. This is the bottoming. Oh yeah, speaking of that guy K-Pax, after we bottomed out here, he spent all of winter, all of November, all of December saying that we're going to revisit 350 again. He's such a perma bear that he was absolutely assured of it, that we were going to revisit 350 and drop even lower. Maybe we will later on this year, but I mean, if you say we're going to hit a level and 3 months go by and we haven't hit that level, probably aren't you probably are wrong, I would think. But I'm not the expert. All right. This is a mess. This was support. I don't know why I put last high, but let me just edit this. This was a support yesterday before it rallied. This, I forgot what this is, but I remember this had some importance. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. There's the daily from, okay. I know it looks like I'm just throwing a bunch of random mess on here, but I have gotten better at picking my levels. Irrelevant for now, irrelevant for now. Okay, let's go to a 4-hour. This is a really clean 4-hour supply. Damn it. I don't know if I want to adjust this level. Here's what I'll do. I'm just going to put a big bulbous. Scheiße. Oops. I think I get demonetized no matter what language I curse in. Man, look at this. Oh man. I'm still sick to my stomach about this beautiful big green candle that I just completely missed out on. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm sorry. That's going to be the plan. We are going to wait until we see a strong demand zone be formed, maybe even on the 15-minute. And speaking of which, yeah, this is a strong 15-minute here as well. Oh, you know what? This is why I wish I had. Um, you know what? I'm a dumbass because I do have SPY on a 15-minute on my other chart, but I just wasn't even paying attention. I said that it formed a kind of messy looking 5-minute demand zone, but it actually formed a clean, look at that, a clean, beautiful demand zone that had 1, 2, 3 tests on the 15-minute candle. Oh, how did I miss that? The thing is, on my other screen, this is what I have for my SPY 15, and it's this tiny little screen. Maybe I should scooch this over, make it a bit bigger. I don't know. What I want is another screen so I can put these two guys on that second screen, or actually third screen, and then have SPY on the 5-minute on my other screen here. And then to be honest, I actually would want 1, 2, 3, 4 screens. Yeah, one screen so I can look at ES on a couple time zones. This on a couple of time zones, 15, maybe an hour. This for one screen only because since I mainly do 5 minutes for my demand zones, and of course this is my laptop screen here. But I wouldn't mind another screen to also look at the VIX, because once I noticed how this other guy Kevin was the one I was paying $80 a month for. Once I noticed how he was checking other charts, I realized that sometimes I would see SPY make a move, like it'll seem like it will reject in a random area. It doesn't form a demand, it just seems completely random. But then you look at the VIX and it's rejecting at a level I found on the VIX. Or actually bouncing at a level I found on the VIX, since the VIX is inverse to the SPY. And I'm like, okay, so that's why SPY is turning around, it looks like, because it bounced at a level on the VIX. But I really haven't been tracking the VIX for a while. And oh yes, here's another reason why I would like more screens, so I can also have my trading view. Because I've also noticed I find trading view to be easier to make trend lines and the chart, whatever. But I admit I've been using it less and less, um, because I've been focusing on this MK strategy with these supply demand zones on the 5 minute. But I would like another screen just to have trading view. Okay, I've talked way too much. This needs to stop. I will come back when the bell rings.